Now, a lot of times when you lift up into the pose, I think you've all felt that point where your lower back pinches, right? So a lot of times when that happens, you intuitively roll the tail under really, really hard to keep that lower back from over crunching, from sort of getting that compression. Now, at first that's okay because that draws the pelvis toward a neutral position. But as you deepen your back bend, say for example, if you go into the wheel pose or you do something like the bow, that really strong roll of the tail interferes with an action that has to happen in the sacrum called sacral nutation. This is an instance where the first and second sacral vertebrae, which are located right about here, press up into the mid-front of the body and sort of rise to the top, and the pelvis, rather than rolling under like this, tips forward toward the knees just slightly. So the trick is to figure out how to first get the pelvis into a somewhat neutral position so that you can find that more subtle action of getting this vertebrae to do what it needs to, and then after that, after a little while, your back bends will be more comfortable. So the bridge, I think, is probably the easiest way to learn this. We're going to have Susanna initially just lift up into a bridge. She'll interlace her hands beneath her and roll her shoulders under. Now at first, if the pelvis isn't near neutral, all the stuff that I do here is just going to screw the entire pose up. So I'm going to have Susanna start by rolling her tail under really, really hard. And when she does that, you can see this spot on her hip flexors here, all this lengthens out, these muscles are getting a stretch. What we want to try to do is that by controlling these bones right here, we want to try to create a little more softness in this space. So the way you do this, after having rolled the tail under, is you take attention to your first and second sacral vertebrae, which is this little divot here at the lower back. Now Susanna's going to pretend that she's hanging from a fishing line. I'm going to gently press my fingers up into that space so she can feel it. I'm just going to let her waistline come a little higher. Now as Susanna does that, she maintains that sense of being lifted to this point, and then she drops her tailbone a 1/16 of an inch. When that happens, if you pay attention to this space here, that space softens a little tiny bit. And if you look underneath under Susanna's shirt, her butt isn't flexing nearly as hard as it would be if she was rolling her tail strong. So for now, Susanna, come all the way down. And we'll have you move from the wheel pose as well, okay? So plant your hands in the side of the head. And then just lift your hips. Now when you're going up into the wheel pose, if you want to do this, you start by rolling the tail under, and then you feel as though you're being pulled upward into the posture by this vertebrae. Now as that happens, you can actually see your pelvis rolling forward like this, as opposed to rolling all the way under. And that'll create a condition where her lower back is able to bend in the way that is necessary. Now, as a partner, if she can't feel that, I can just feel around for the small of the lower back here, this little divot under my fingers, and if I press up there really gently, she can let her tailbone drop a 1/16 of an inch until her butt muscles get soft, and that's what she's looking for now. Okay, Susanna? When she's ready, we'll have her come all the way down. And moving along.